My heart shattered, right there, in front of my children. He pointed to the door. "Get out," he sneered. His voice was cold, full of something ugly. "Your kind isn't welcome here." Tears welled in my eyes. I blinked them back, hard. Not in front of my babies. My little Lily, only 8 years old, grabbed my hand. Her eyes, usually so bright and happy, were wide with fear. Tom, my sweet 6-year-old boy, started to cry, softly at first, then his little body shook with sobs. This was supposed to be a happy day, a celebration. My name is Sarah, and this is my story. It started with so much joy. Lily had aced her school report card, straight A's, every single subject. My heart swelled with pride for my smart, hard-working girl. Michael, my wonderful husband, suggested we celebrate properly. "Let's go to that new place downtown," he said, the Golden Spoon. It sounded lovely. We'd heard good things online, a special treat for our special girl. Lily practically skipped into the restaurant, her new pink dress swishing around her knees. Tom, my energetic little shadow, was already asking if they had chocolate ice cream for dessert. We were seated at a nice round table by the window. Sunlight streamed in. The restaurant was busy. The air buzzed with happy chatter and the clinking of cutlery. We felt good. We felt welcome. Or so I thought. Been there maybe 15 minutes. Lily was telling us about her day at school, her voice full of excitement. Tom was trying to read the dessert menu upside down, giggling. Michael and I exchanged a happy smile. These were the moments we lived for. Then he appeared. A tall man in a suit that looked a little too tight. He had a sour expression on his face. He walked straight to our table. "Is there a problem?" Michael asked, his voice friendly. The man didn't look at Michael. He looked at me, then at my children. His eyes lingered on us, cold and assessing. "Yes, there's a problem," he said, his voice loud enough for nearby tables to hear. A hush started to fall. I felt eyes on us. Some of our other guests are feeling uncomfortable. I frowned. Uncomfortable? Why? My children are being well behaved. And they were. They were being angels. The man, who I later learned was the manager, Mr. Peterson, smirked. It was a cruel, knowing smirk. "Let's not pretend we don't know what this is about," he said, his voice dripping with disdain. My stomach twisted. I knew where this was going. The familiar dread, the sick feeling. "I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to leave," he said. Michael stood up. "On what grounds? We haven't done anything wrong." His voice was firm, but I could hear the tremor of anger underneath. Mr. Peterson's eyes narrowed. "This is a respectable establishment," he said. "We have standards." And then came those words. The words that cut deeper than any knife. "Your kind isn't welcome here. Now please get out before I have to call security." My mind went blank for a second. Shock. Disbelief. Then a burning wave of anger. But the hurt. Oh, the hurt was overwhelming. For my children. Their innocent faces. Lily's eyes were now filled with tears. Tom was openly sobbing, burying his face in Michael's leg. This man, this stranger, was teaching my children a horrible lesson. A lesson about hate. About prejudice. I wanted to scream. I wanted to rage. But I looked at Lily. I looked at Tom. I took a deep breath. "We will leave," I said, my voice trembling despite my best efforts. "But you should know this is not over." He just laughed. A short, barking laugh. "Threats? Really? Just go." He gestured to the door again. Dismissively. Like we were nothing. We gathered our things, our dignity in tatters. Every eye in that restaurant felt like it was on us. Some curious, some pitying. Some, I feared, agreed with the manager. Walking out of the Golden Spoon that day was one of the hardest things I've ever done. The bright sunlight outside felt like a mockery. Lily was crying silently, tears streaming down her face. Tom was inconsolable. Michael wrapped his arms around them, his own face a mask of fury and pain. "I'm so sorry, babies," he kept murmuring. "I'm so sorry." We stood on the sidewalk, a broken little family. The sounds of the city faded. All I could hear were my children's sobs. My heart ached with a pain so deep, it felt physical. How could someone be so cruel, so full of hate? And then something inside me snapped. Not rage that would make me scream, but a cold, hard resolve. I looked back at the golden spoon, its fancy sign, its gleaming windows. Mr. Peterson had no idea. He had absolutely no idea who he had just thrown out. You see, the golden spoon wasn't just some random restaurant. It was mine. I had acquired it just last month, part of a new portfolio for my hospitality company. I hadn't announced my ownership widely yet. I hadn't even met all the senior staff in person. I wanted to visit anonymously with my family, to get a real customer experience. Well, I got an experience, all right. A horrifying, eye-opening one. "Michael," I said, my voice quiet but firm, "take the kids to the car. Get them some ice cream from that place down the street. I'll be right back." Michael looked at me, his eyes questioning. Then he saw the look on my face. He knew me. He knew that look. He simply nodded. "Be careful, Sarah." I kissed my children. "Mommy has to take care of something, my loves. I'll be quick." Lily sniffled. "Is that bad man going to be there?" "He is, sweetie," I said, stroking her hair. "But don't you worry about him." I took a deep breath and turned back towards the restaurant. Each step felt heavy, but with each step my resolve grew stronger. This wasn't just about me anymore, or even just my family. This was about what was right. I pushed open the door to the golden spoon. The buzz of conversation died down again as heads turned. Mr. Peterson was near the front, preening, talking to a waiter. He saw me. His eyes widened slightly, then narrowed into a sneer. "You again?" he said loudly. "I thought I told you to leave. Are you deaf as well as?" He didn't finish his sentence, but I knew what he meant. I ignored him. I walked past him, my head held high. Some of the staff looked nervous. One young waitress looked particularly pale. I made a mental note of her. "I need to speak to the owner of this establishment," I said, my voice clear and steady. Mr. Peterson let out that ugly laugh again. He swaggered towards me. "You're looking at the next best thing, lady. I'm the general manager. What I say goes. And I say you need to leave now, or I'm calling the police for trespassing." He was so arrogant, so sure of himself. I almost smiled. Almost. "No, Mr. Peterson," I said, my voice dropping a little, making him lean in. "I mean the real owner." He scoffed. "The owner isn't here. They don't bother with the day-to-day." "Oh, but she does," I said softly. "Sometimes." I looked him straight in the eye. "My name is Sarah Johnson, CEO of Johnson Hospitality Group, and I own the Golden Spoon." The color drained from Mr. Peterson's face. His arrogant smirk vanished, replaced by a look of utter comical shock. His mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. You own," he stammered. He couldn't get the words out. "Yes, Mr. Peterson," I said, my voice like ice now, "I do. This restaurant, along with several others, became part of my company last month. I was here for an unannounced spot check, to see my investment, to observe my staff in action." I let my gaze sweep over him, from his ill-fitting suit to his now trembling hands. "And you, Mr. Peterson, have shown me exactly what I needed to see." He started to babble. "Mrs. Johnson, I had no idea, it was a misunderstanding. A terrible mistake." "A misunderstanding," I echoed, my voice rising slightly. People were openly staring now. "Good, let them see, let them hear. You called my family your kind. You threw my children, my 6- and 8-year-old babies, out into the street. You made them cry. You humiliated us based on the color of our skin." I took a step closer. He actually flinched. "There is no misunderstanding racism, Mr. Peterson. There is only recognizing it. And there is only stopping it. Please," he begged, his voice cracking. "Give me another chance. I can explain. I wasn't thinking clearly. The pressure of the job." "The pressure of the job does not excuse bigotry," I stated. It does not excuse hate. You are in a position of power here. You represent this establishment, and you have abused that power in the most disgusting way. I pulled out my phone. You are fired, Mr. Peterson, effective immediately. His eyes bulged. You can't do that. I'll sue. I have rights. You can certainly try, I said calmly, already dialing my head of operations, but I have multiple witnesses to your unprovoked racist attack on my family, and I have a zero-tolerance policy for this in all my businesses. Now please gather your personal belongings from your office. Security will be here shortly to escort you from the premises. I spoke briefly into the phone, confirming the termination and requesting someone from HR and security to come down. When I hung up, Mr. Peterson just stood there, defeated. His face was a ghastly shade of gray. The arrogance was gone, replaced by fear and dawning realization. He had messed with the wrong family. He had messed with the wrong woman. He mumbled something about his things and shuffled towards the back office. The restaurant was silent. You could have heard a pin drop. I turned to the staff, who were watching with a mixture of shock and on some faces relief. My name is Sarah Johnson, I said again, my voice softer now, but still firm. I am the new owner of the Golden Spoon. What happened here today was disgraceful, it was unacceptable, and I promise you all it will never ever happen again under my ownership. I looked at them, one by one. This establishment will be a place where everyone is welcome, everyone is respected, regardless of their background, their beliefs, or the color of their skin. If anyone here does not agree with that fundamental principle, the door is right there. You are free to follow Mr. Peterson. No one moved. The young waitress I'd noticed earlier, the one who looked pale and upset, caught my eye. She gave a small, almost imperceptible nod. Good. A few minutes later, 2 security guards arrived, along with my regional operations manager, who looked flustered but professional. Mr. Peterson was escorted out, carrying a small box of his things. He didn't look at anyone. He looked broken. I didn't feel triumph. Not really. I felt a grim sort of satisfaction. Justice. But mostly I felt tired and sad. Sad that this had to happen. Sad that this kind of hate still existed so openly. I went back outside. Michael was pacing near the car. The kids were inside, thankfully distracted by their ice creams. He rushed to me. Sarah, what happened? Are you okay? I leaned into him. He's gone, Michael. Fired. He held me tight. Good, he said, his voice thick with emotion. Good. We didn't eat at the Golden Spoon that day. The mood was ruined, the celebration tainted. We went home. We hugged our children tight. We tried to explain, in simple terms they could understand, that sometimes people are unkind, but that doesn't make it right, and that Mommy had made sure the unkind man couldn't hurt anyone else there. Lily, ever so perceptive, asked, "Is it because we're black, Mommy?" That question. It tore through me. Yes, sweetie, I said, holding her close. Sometimes some people are foolish and unkind because of things like that, but it's their problem, not yours. You are perfect just the way you are. We all are. The next few weeks were busy. I hired a new manager for the Golden Spoon, a wonderful woman with years of experience and a proven commitment to diversity and inclusion. We implemented mandatory comprehensive anti-bias and sensitivity training for all staff. I spoke to that young waitress, Anna. She confirmed Mr. Peterson had a history of problematic behavior, though never this blatant. He'd been subtle, insidious. She'd been too scared to speak up before. I offered her a trainee assistant manager position. She cried, happy tears this time. The Golden Spoon needed to change from the inside out, and it would. A month later we went back. The atmosphere was different, lighter, warmer. The new manager greeted us with a genuine smile. Anna, looking confident in her new role, showed us to our table. The food was delicious. The service was excellent. My children laughed. Lily talked about her school play. Tom once again eyed the dessert menu. It was just a normal family meal. But it felt like a victory. A quiet one. A hard-won one. This experience left a scar, on me, on my family. but it also strengthened my resolve. Owning businesses isn't just about profit margins and expansion, it's about the values you uphold, the culture you create, the impact you have on people's lives, your employees, your customers, your community. We can't always choose what happens to us. We can't always stop the ugliness of the world from touching us. But we can choose how we respond. We can choose to stand up against hate. We can choose to fight for what's right. Every single time. Because every single voice, every single action, matters. What did you think of my story? Has anything like this ever happened to you, or someone you know? I'd be heartbroken to hear it, but I want you to know your feelings are valid. Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Your stories matter, and your voice deserves to be heard. And if you found this story moving or impactful, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel for more true stories, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you so much for listening. We can all make a difference.